everything.
Y'all be talking about me when that much happens.
Skipping. Mine goes straight down in order.
I know.
My numbers never watch Sesame Street, so they don't. They don't know the order.
Sad day. But hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 46 of On the Back Hash, where we talk about things that are of the pageantry arts. I'm with Chris, Zach, and Will. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Tired.
Good. Yeah. I have been in front of a computer screen all day today.
Hey,
but we have an opener.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
Let's go.
We have an opener. I don't think the mallets rest the whole opener.
Their forearms are going to be so gigantic.
I looked at it.
They're going to be mad that it ain't enough.
I was looking.
What do you mean there's 3 measures of rest here?
What?
What do you mean only 2 mallets?
I was going through and I was going through and I was like putting all the multiple measure rest in, and I got to the mallet stuff. It's like nobody has any. Oh God, there's so many notes. But
Instead of trying to be Boss of Crusaders over here with this high school.
No, because we put notes in the front ensemble.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh,
dang!
Where's the button? I need it.
Come in. Jeez. I was ready for something that spicy at the very beginning, man. We're not even 2 minutes in.
Hey, Colin McNutt, though, if you watch me and holler at your boy, I'll get your pit together.
I love you.
I get your fun together. You get battery, love it. Yes. Let's get some cool front on stuff, and they do play some cool stuff, but you forget that they're down there because the batteries.
Stop backtracking. You already said it.
No reverse button here.
Taking everything out of context.
Let's be all right. Somebody will turn in right at that point. Like they'll skip the first 30 seconds and then like, oh,
be mad.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
What they laughing at?
Won't be the first person mad at me. Won't be the last. Oh me. But yeah, it's that time. Everybody's doing stuff. I think everybody's either writing or teaching now.
Yeah. Or both.
Or both. I'm writing music and I guess teaching. And Chris is teaching and Zach's writing drill and teaching and Will's writing music, and hell, if something falls through, he might be teaching.
Listen.
We might get a visit from Will early. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be. I'll
start getting the guest. Your group if you.
I'll start getting the rest room, the guest room ready for you. Come on,
hit me up.
My kid has a bunk bed. You can have the bottom bunk.
Oh, so much room for activities.
Fetal position.
But for real though, it's of course you guys know by now. We're in Kentucky. It is a struggle. So if you're a percussionist and are listening to this, Kentucky bands are looking.
Notice he said percussionist, not just a drum person.
I did.
We need people who can do both.
But there are plenty. I've been getting hit up since May about people being needed to teach percussion. Mm-hmm. So if you are one, like, holler at your boy. Because
it's like, how am I getting hit up and I don't even live there no
more? Yeah, this man in Seattle.
They're in 3 time zones away.
Bruh. Y'all know I don't live there no more. We're that desperate.
Will you join camp via Zoom?
Listen, it might come to that for some of them. I'm serious.
Put me on a big screen.
It is.
Or they gonna call police on me. What is the yelling for?
Really quick. What are you watching on TV? So it's. I wonder if any other states are going through this, but yeah, it's slam pickings for percussion instructors. Seems like everything else is being fine, but I don't know. We can have a whole complete different conversation about that.
And I almost went into it.
Yeah. But maybe after a break of DCI, we can talk about that or something. But yeah, so holler at your boy if you're looking for a perk job. We ain't Texas, so don't be thinking you're gonna be making like $25,000.
Right.
Make cheeseburgers. Make it a cheeseburger and a smile.
Handshakes.
Yeah.
And a gold star at the end of camp.
And, get some French fries, but you don't get the ketchup packet. Just so you know.
Extra.
So yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we got a lot to talk about from DCI this past weekend. We had a pretty major show, so we're going to start with our recap of our one to watch, which was the Drum Along the Rocky show that was held in Colorado, and we had Boston and Blue Devils, which was going to be like the big, oh boy, here's what's going to happen. We're going to see what happened, and it was kind of like BD just said, no.
Sit it down.
With a score of 89.5, I believe.
How we busting 90 and it's the
89.6.
89.6. And Boston had an 88-1, I believe.
Yeah.
But a point and a half. There's a few things that bother me with this. But I'm gonna let some other folks talk first. So let me see who's looking angsty right now. Chris.
What? Huh?
What's your So like any takeaways, and we'll probably talk about this for a minute, but like any initial takeaways from that show.
My big takeaway is that I don't think anyone's catching BD this year. I feel like it's pretty much a wrap, which kind of stinks. I do have some disagreements though about that stuff, which I think we'll get more into here a little bit later on. But my other one, which we could talk about, actually I'll hold that one too for our other segment. But I think I will say that's the first time I got to see mandarins, and that show's really cool. I love the ideas that they are like becoming one of my favorite prop cores. Like last year, their prop was really cool. And then the COVID year, they had that weird, like, was it them? They had like where they're like writing on the wall kind of stuff, right?
They put like fabric and stuff up on it.
Yeah, like they did that. And then like this year, they had like those rotating red, whatever they are.
Well, I mean, think back to the year they broke into finals where they had the big
circular, yeah, had the trombones on it. Oh. But yeah, really dig that show. I'm really ready to see that live. So yeah, I'll leave the other stuff for further discussions. But that's kind of my quick ones there.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mandarins. They're trying to keep steadily move themselves up the tier of things, like, and they're better than the rest. They're in that limbo. It's just like, what can they do to push themselves over that edge to be in that upper echelon of drum corps, you know. Zach, any takeaways from you?
Mostly, Chris kind of took what I was going to say about mandarins, to be honest. I'm kind of mad about it, but
you're going to reinforce. That's okay.
Yeah, you can say it.
I mean, I said this in our group chat. Like, I'm really excited to see that one in person, as well. But no, I noticed Troopers. I don't know if I haven't seen it enough still. I feel like they don't have a whole lot that's different from what I saw last week, other than they painted part of the prop gold, so it's gold and silver when it turns, which is cool.
Which makes it look even cooler. Yeah, it's still cool. I was like,
okay. So
you guys know the Hypnotoad from Futurama?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what that reminds me of. Like, I just want to watch it like nonstop.
Wait, did a core play?
I'm ready for them to start adding some stuff, a little more here and there. Like, and I know if it's similar to like last year, it's not going to be something major, but like the little things, like last year when they added the gold over their eyes, they were blinded by the oil and this and the, like, those little things that you start to add. Like, they've already added the dusters and the little face covers too. But I'm anxious to see, not just with Troopers, but some of these other shows that I've seen them a couple times. What are they going to add to kind of take them up a notch as well? And plus, we're still waiting on some of these cores to do like their signature things too, like Phantom and the Chevron and the kickoff and Troopers with the sunburst and just all these little their iconic things that they have each year. We haven't seen them yet or heard them yet, so I'm ready to start seeing some of those come out.
I agree. My things with Troopers is I know you want to see those things. I'm hoping you see a sunburst, but I don't know how much else you're gonna get out of it. I felt like I thought I saw something different. I know I noticed the guard for the first time watching it the other night. Like they have a nice little flag phrase towards the end of the show that I really enjoyed. And I don't know if it was a flag change or just the brightness or sharpness on marching was better, but I was like, oh, okay, guards got some stuff because a lot of their colors are muted. And like I said, I say this once every 3 episodes, visually impaired. So I don't see a lot of details in uniform and stuff like that. So something has to be pretty broad for me to catch it. And like I said, the first few times watching Troopers was like, I see guard people running around, but I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they are kind of wearing the same color as the core, and it kind of blends in a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. I think their visual package is very neat right now. I feel like if they can get some more pops of color in there, which I think that's why they changed the color of the sun, I think, to add a little bit of visual stuff. But I think that show needs a little bit more contrast. And I think that'll help a whole lot with it. Because I feel like they're a little stagnant right there. It's still good. Still a finalist show, but it's still a little stagnant.
And that was the thing that worried me about them from the jump when I first saw it. Was just like, it's really good, but it sounds like the same thing for 11 minutes. And I don't know. I don't know. So, but they're playing it well. Their marching is getting much, much better. Like I said, they're doing some things. I just hope they because they're living and breathing and dreaming it right now. So like they know what's coming. We don't know, but they know. So cool. Will, you said you had some stuff, or did you? Go ahead, man. I'm not going to speak for you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, no, I had told everybody I was on an island issue. Dealing with some family things, so I wasn't able to catch the show. I caught the scores and stuff, and maybe a couple pictures here and there, and some highlights. Somebody posts on social media, but just kind of basing on previous things. The only group that I wanted to see the most, honestly, was Seattle Cascades, because I think that was their debut. I know they had some family friends nights up here closer to Portland. couldn't get down to Oregon or anything like that. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that's their first like real show. So I wanted to see that, but I'm hearing some decent things about that. But other than that, man, I'm basing a lot of this off of social media and the stuff that I've seen people post. People went after BD and the whole Boston, BD beating Boston in color guard, and I looked at it, and a lot of people was like, man, there's like so many drops and stuff like this, and I continue to try to educate myself in color guard world, and I look at it a lot like indoor, like people know it's like, okay, Paramount won. But if you were there and you watched shows in the top 3, I can't remember who was it. I think it was Blessed Sack and Pride. Mm-hmm. If you watch like those top 3 or so, there are drops in pretty much all 3. So if you're basing why a group is losing because of drops, I'm starting to realize I don't think you can. I think because if you're doing so much, because I know, Chad, me and you had this discussion a while back when it was against, I think it was Carmel and Avon or somebody like that, because we both loved Avon show, because what did they do, 007 or something in indoor?
Oh, you talking about the guard?
Yeah, color guard. It makes you want, or it may have not been Avon, it may have been Tarpon Springs, because they had like a whole freaking band out there. But when you're comparing these things and you're looking at it, it's like, how is this winning when? Because you start seeing the drops and you're like, well, they dropped this many times and this many times, and I was like, I don't.
I think the thing with that is it's because it's so visible.
It's such is it is, and
Like
it,
people who don't know enough about it, like it's like I talk about my mom. She knows not a whole lot about the ins and outs of marching band, but one thing she can tell is if you have straight lines or not.
right.
Like, and she's like, well, their lines were crooked. Well, okay, but they
'Cause
played better than everybody else or something, you know. So when you think about that makes sense.
That's exactly and I tell people like this, it's like I'll go into percussion mode and you're looking at it, it's like, well, okay, well, compare it to Boston percussion to Bluto's percussion. And I told somebody before, I was like, if you think Boston is 100% clean with all them millions of notes, you're wrong. I was like, they have so many push threes, fours, alternating flams, floppies. Check the tuning of the drums and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of dirt in that. So who is cleaner, BD or Boston? Because you're making those arguments and you're trying to say this. It's like, okay, well, they're dirting out these fours that they're pumping out, or this whole 5-lit or the 7 that they're knocking out in the back of the field. Well, you look at BD and it's the same opposite. BD has that entire section in the percussion break where the flats, the snares come in and they're doing like high moms and they're doing add in rolls and stuff like this, and each snare will come in and they'll add in and add in, then it gets crazy modulated, like, and then they'll do like wide dynamics to soft dynamics out of nowhere. They'll drop the bottom out of nowhere, and it's like, this is like the most musical or the hardest musical cold attack section with dynamics and just fast notes in general. And I'm sitting here like, this section alone is almost as rival to Boston's show. I was like, if you're putting stuff into content, think about it. Think about what they're playing in that small section, and then think about what Boston's doing the entire show. That's too many notes to think that all of that's going to get clean. So that's why I look at it like that with BD in the color guard. I was like, sometimes I don't think you can just totally and submissively judge off of how many drops a group makes and think, oh, they got this many drops in this, and this. I was like, well, was you looking at the other part of the show, or did you only notice the drops?
Well, as I was going to say, I think it's easy for fans to always judge execution, but it's not easy to judge content. I think that's what it breaks down to. It's easy to see drops. It's easy to hear missed notes.
It is.
You know, all those things, but understanding the content that is in throughout the entire show is hard. Now, we can review this later, but I don't think that BD beat them in guard. I don't think it should have happened, but I think you're right. I think that's where a lot of people get upset because they see drops. They think if you drop 5 times, yeah, but also you got to remember this is a 14-minute show. You know, like 5 drops over that entire span is not going to be
is nowhere near going to be enough. And if you're thinking about, because a lot of people is like, okay, well, what do you consider hard or difficulty content and all that kind of things?
Well, like, is it different? Are they dropping a pop toss or are they dropping an 8 with a rifle?
You see what I'm saying?
You know, like
that stuff matters too. And
yeah,
I mean, Boston has a lot of exchanges in their show, but so does Phantom Regiment.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's like, okay, is Boston's exchanges harder than Phantoms? Because they both got parts where they're tossing over the band basically. So it's like, when you're looking at it, you look at it on, like, for me, like, difficulty level. Like, we like to judge, okay, how hard is the formatted book? How hard or permutations are you doing? Because just because you're doing a basic Stevens roll doesn't mean that's difficult. Yes, it is hard in the nature, but that's not going to be harder than you doing like windshield wipers or outsides and ends or something like that compared. So rifle work or whatever, it's like, is BD's section, because I know, Cedric, you pointed out, and I remember BD has a section where everybody's on rifle. So that alone is already saying, here comes something difficult. That's saying, okay, we're going to do the entire group on this section with this. So it's just, in my opinion, like I said, I think it's a lot to consider and to not. And I'm learning too, because I'm horrible about this in indoor, because I'll harp about it all day. But understanding more than one thing to define why this is winning in general.
That part.
Yeah, we're fun.
I have to remind myself so many times, just because I like a show more than another one doesn't mean it's better.
Mm-hmm.
Better by the score sheet, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
I may like it better, but it may not be the best show that was there that night.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing when I go to, high school shows. But, I mean, it's all about the numbers on the paper.
Yeah, it's kind of going over that with the guard. Just watching BD's guard, if anybody could beat Boston, it would be them.
It would have been them.
And just because of the stuff, like I said, when I saw that, because I watched the high cam, I've gotten where I just watch high cam now. I don't, because right now Flo Martin's
the
multi-cam is.
Jeez, that multi-cam.
Drunk as hell.
Still trying to figure it out.
Drunk
Which is fine. They'll have it done by finals, and I won't watch it because I'll be at finals. But watching the overcam and seeing, I was like, BD's got literally every guard member on rifle, and then seeing the work that they're doing with everybody, that section is pretty phenomenal. And not to say Boston didn't have that. People with the 10 drops, which I get, I understand. Like, I'm like that sometimes too about stuff. But, like, it's not the tick system anymore. And that's the thing. You are getting graded off of what you're doing. And, I mean, the content score wasn't – I think it was close.
I think I got it here in a second. I thought I did.
I got it. Content score, 8.9 to 8.7. So, but achievement, and this is where people kind of need to learn how numbers work and stuff like that, because, and this was a different show that they were referring to the 10 drops.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can still look at the score and see, yes, Boston won guard by 10th, because their content is so high. Blue Devils won guard by 10th because their content was higher than Boston's achievement that day.
Mm-hmm.
Boston achieved better. But here's the thing. You look at it, 8.9, 8.6 for BD. That's 0.3 left on the table. 8.7, 8.7 for Boston. That means that judge that day thought that Boston maximized what they could do with that particular guard show.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I know in WGI the achievement is weighed a little bit more, because I know this past season in prelims, one of the judges had us 4th in content, but had us 1st in achievement, which put us 2nd in his eye. So he's like, these groups have a better show than you do, or content-wise show than you do, but you played yours much better than they did. And ultimately, they gotta figure something out. There is a lot of content in BD's guard show. There is.
Well, also, what beat BD at that show was music. They got gapped pretty hard on that.
You can tell about what beat Boston.
Music brass analysis for BD. That was the big gap. Over on music analysis and
it was across the board.
Mm-hmm.
No, they swept in every category, but I'm saying that was the gap.
But I'm saying it's 3/10 with everything. 4/10 for brass, 5/10 for analysis, and 3/10 for perk, which we thought perk would be the thing that would maybe even it out, and it wouldn't even.
That's like something to just raise your eyebrows to as well, man, is just this percussion stuff and how people are viewing everything. If people don't seem to understand, Troopers is tapping it a little bit and per.
Mhm.
I
It's
mean,
like, are you serious right now? You're telling me that Troopers has a slight possibility to be top 5 in perk this year?
Well, coats are going to be in there.
I know who
Cabbies,
ain't gonna be in there.
Cabbies, cadets.
Crown is better, but
You're on some heels to say let's.
oh, I mean they're
slip.
in,
Yeah,
they're in the
yeah.
they're in the hunt. It's just people are swinging in percussion this year. I don't want to make this a percussion path show today, but people are swinging. That's a complete thing, but it was complete and utter dominance. Now here's what's scary. You know, people talk about, okay, Zach, this kind of goes to your point that you've made in some comments in our group chat or whatever. Let's look at visual proficiency, which is typically a very strong point for BD. Okay. Now they lost Boston beat them in achievement, but the content they won by 4/10.
That's
crazy.
wild.
I just
But it's the same old thing. See, here's the thing. It's
I don't
the same
wanna
old
get
thing
on-
we say about BD though, because BD is the masters of the sheets, and people have a hard time seeing BD do difficult things or new things because they do what they do so well. It's so hidden, so it makes it look like what they're doing isn't hard, when actual reality, it's extremely difficult.
like my thing was when I was watching it, it's like they did a whole lot of just like running, and then they would stop and like hit a pose, and then they would like do this thing, but then they did that for a while, and then they hit a block and just marched and played and floated that block, and it was like carbon copies of people. Nothing was out of place, and I'm like, this is bullshit.
That's hard.
Like,
Because if you think about it,
you're gonna spend this time just running around like you've made it up on the spot, and you're gonna have them stand in the same spot for 16 counts and go like this. Everybody on 2 different counts apiece, but it still lines up, and then you're gonna magically end up in a block or a rhombus and freaking look like a military.
Because if you think about it, if you think about what you said, and then now compare that to a group who just marched only.
Exactly.
That's more difficult than just marching consecutively. Because that takes more concentration and appreciation, but people won't see it like that because they're not marching constantly. They think that isn't that hard. It's like, oh, you can just run around. It's like, then you do it.
Look, but here's the thing. Look at how they're running.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Look at how they're running.
Exactly.
Now, that achievement score lets you know visually they ain't as clean as they usually are.
No,
they're not. So that's the thing. And 5/10 is a lot. That's a lot to leave out on the table. But it's not necessarily a lot of people talk about the pitches that they make. It's not necessarily that stuff, but it's how are they getting there. Mm-hmm. And BD chooses to run, but even when they run with really, really good technique.
It's so hard to teach that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to.
Because I always keep saying, I was like, if you're someone who keeps saying that it's not, then do it. Because I've said this before, I was like, BD, without saying, is giving everybody the formula to win.
Yeah.
That's plain and simple. But if you're going to constantly say that, oh, it's easy, this and this, then you need to prove that it is. Because I've seen a lot of groups who do that, and it is not smacking right now.
Well, here's the thing: the groups that are trying to copy that, they're not doing very well because, I mean, we can go back and we can look at some groups and see, like, there's some groups that do the let's run to this spot now, but it literally for them looks like they're just running to a spot. There's no performance behind it or anything like that. But BD makes everything that they do is is intentional. Every single thing that they do,
like their whole brass can run, and it looks like they don't even touch a blade of grass, and it's not fair.
The part, and if you notice in BD, the parts where they struggle is when they are marching fast and playing.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like that's like every core nowadays, though, except for like Crown. Like I feel like because I feel like that's the balance between doing the more free form kind of stuff is that you lose that traditional marching side of things of we're going to march at 210 and play all these stuff at the very end. That's all reason we get little snippets of it now. But that doesn't mean that it's not still good. You know, it's just you're getting a different thing, if you look at Cabbies in the early 2000s or Vanguard, 6-7 years ago, those dudes were marching and they were marching and they were playing and that's all you got, but you didn't get any of the freeform kind of dance stuff that's integrated into it today.
Yeah. Well, but back then that was what content was.
Exactly. That's what yeah. Mm-hmm.
And content has changed because a lot of stuff now, yes, you can have difficult drill moves, but now content includes how you're doing, how creative are you doing
the artistry.
Yeah, it's more the artistry a part of it, and not just the technical drill part of it. I think that's one reason why, Michael Gaines, brilliant drill writer, but could he do that stuff now and still have top notch visual scores, because it's not what it used to be. It's interesting thing to think about. We can go ahead and talk about this now. Pacific Crest looks like they're saying that 12 spot's ours. Mm-hmm. Watching it is a solid show. It is a very solid show. Beating Troopers in color guard. Percussion's and I put it in quotation marks as a weak spot, but from top to bottom, it's a pretty solid show that would represent itself pretty well in finals.
Like if you look at on DCI's side at their rankings, like there's a gap between them and 13th. Like Crossman's in 13th right now, according to the DCI rankings, and it's 2.2 points.
But at the same time, it's like we said last time. Like I know I didn't see this one. I've seen Pacific Crest, and I know I didn't see this show, but it's like last time. Do you think it'll hold over Spirit?
That'll be interesting.
That's what I had in.
That'll be interesting, and I'm trying to take my bias out of it because I really like the Spirit show, and I want to see it in.
Because have they gone to enough Pacific Crest?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
So they're sitting 12th, and Spirit's sitting 17th right now. But Spirit hasn't been out for a little bit,
right? Because, like I said, this is Cascade's first show, really. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering if that plays a part a little bit in the rankings still. Because I noticed that, like I can only go by scores right now, but I was like, man, is it better than Spirit Show?
Go ahead, Sid. Sorry.
It's done well. It's done really well. I have to see. I need to see Spirit again.
I think there are two opposite shows in the fact that like I think I say this with a huge grain of salt because I've only seen Spirit once, and this might be a little bit of recency bias too. So just keep that in mind. But I feel like Pacific Crest musical package is
More
a little
solid.
bit stronger, but then Spirit's visual package and GE package is a little bit stronger. Does that make sense? So like I said, that could be recency bias because I just saw Pacific Crest play, and I haven't seen Spirit in like a week, so that could be that there. But I just like Seth was saying, it's a solid production. Like you can tell that they got some good pieces in place this time around, but so does Spirit. So I don't know. I do think Spirit's going to jump Crossman and all them. That if you look at those power rankings, which we'll talk about San Antonio a little bit later on, but
yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, I was curious because when Zach read them off, I was like, man, because I had Spirit after that. I was like, I think I got Spirit in either Lash or somewhere, but I had them in. But then now I'm looking at the rankings too. Pacific is in, but I'm like,
and I'll say this too about the Colorado show in general. I'm sorry, 89, 88,
Yeah,
89. I feel like
the score's going to drop at San Antonio. 100%.
something. Either they're going to drop or they're going to push everybody up because it's just like it's almost like they said, "Ooh, Mandarins are really good. Oh, but BD can't be just 2 or 3 points ahead." I'm not saying they said that, but it just feels like they just said BD can't be that close to Mandarins.
Like so this show is not. But the funny thing about it is, like
that's what I was just about to say. You can't tell me that this.
It's like it shouldn't matter because everybody ain't.
Well,
there.
we know it shouldn't matter, but
even if you did do that at a show, people would still have to consider everybody else ain't there. So regardless if that was an 83 or 3 points ahead, it's like, the ones who don't know will raise hell and, they'll be like, ooh, BD about to get beat, and, that kind of stuff. But everybody else will know, well, Coates wasn't there, Cadets wasn't there, Crown wasn't there, Caddies wasn't there. You can list them all.
And that was my thing because at that same night, Blue Coats and Crown both scored 86. Blue Coats 86-6 and Crown 86-1, which Coach finally caught Crown. So, so you're telling me that Blue Devils, not even okay. First of all, you're telling me Blue Devils is 3 points better than Blue Coats, and you're telling me Boston is 2 points better than Blue Coats.
That's why.
I'm sorry.
That's why I kind of recommended that what to watch these at.
Yeah.
And just kind of mentioning it because I was like, that's like a teaser, but because
that can be our appetizer.
Because looking at these scores, I don't think that would have happened
if
they were there.
No.
There's no way that would have happened if they were there. So I'm like,
because if you're scoring 89, almost 90 now, what are you going to get in 3 weeks?
Because that's what I'm saying. Because if you're going by the rankings, you got 10 people in the 80s already.
So there's two scenarios that can happen, I think. Either one, when we get to San Antonio, the score's going to drop, right? Or two, we're going to get to the point where, like, close to finals where, like, they're going to run out of room for BD, and then everyone's going to catch up with them. It's going to get a little more interesting on that last week. I hope the first one happens because, like you're saying, like I was just mentioning, I don't see Fleeting-esque here. This is not. I don't anywhere near that.
I think the scores have to drop in a sense because for me, I'm just being honest. I like BD show. I love it.
It's
I love
good.
it.
Yeah.
I love it top to bottom. This is probably one of the first years I like the percussion, and that's not because SCV ain't here. It's got real flow to it.
No, it's
But
good. There's one transition that I'm like,
yeah.
but
I
besides
think I
that,
know
I'm
what
just
you're
like,
talking about.
okay, this
Yeah.
is.
But other than that, it's not a record breaking show.
Mm-mm.
So for them to get way high in the 90s, I don't think that should happen. I think these scores have to come down.
Yeah, they'll just kind of like plateau and they'll stay
or
stagnant.
plateau, or they got to they got to smush together.
But they still got to leave. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They have all that. They have all that
Phantom's
space for all
good.
these other cores. Yeah,
Phantom's good, and Mandarins are still good. So like, who did they go on after that show? Who did BD go on after?
At San Antonio.
Yeah,
they don't have it up yet.
No. Who did they go on after? So
they went after
on,
Mandarins. Yeah.
So they sat there and watched that and was like, "This is 6 points better than Mandarins."
There's no way. 4? Yeah, I could see that, but not 6.
So either they score Mandarins too high, or that spread ain't where it should be for. And then they have to, and then I think they was like, well, we have to leave room for Boston somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you don't want to come into shows with preconceived notions. But I'm sorry, we are human. We make those mistakes. We have biases, and we do. That's just what we do. But that when I saw that Blue Coat score and Boston score, and then I saw those two, I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. And I know you can't compare it but that's big. That's bigger than West Coast inflation.
It is, and you know how I am. You know, it's like I ain't trying to turn it into an indoor show, but we talk about this so much during indoor as well, and a lot of judges, in my opinion, just it's like they're scared or something. Like, are you 100% seeing what you're saying the number is saying? Are you really seeing that? Or is there something behind this? Because there was a lot of shows in indoor that was very sus on the score. And it's like you were just scared to just drop BD for some reason. Why can't BD be 5th? It's like, okay, is, because I know we went on BD spiel, whatever, just a minute ago, and I said what I said, but is BD achieving like that? Like, for real, are they really achieving like that? And then
the gap in their score says they're not. Yeah, the gap in the score says they're not.
But see, here's the thing, because I remember me and you talked about this about indoor once, and I think this applies. It's like everybody, in a sense, at some point is probably going to play or have something the same in every single core. Prime example, every single drum line is going to play a role. You're going to have a diddle somewhere. What judge is saying this diddle is cleaner than this diddle? You see where I'm going with this? Because if you're picking and choosing, because that's what it feels like, you're picking and choosing to say this was better than this group's, even though they might be doing the same thing. This drills look better, or they're playing this note better, or whatever. But you're telling me that their B flat chord is better than their B flat chord? Like, what are you picking and choosing that's giving you to say that this is better? Because it's hard to tell, to say, if they're both clean, who are you putting on top? Because if they're both 100%, if Boston plays something that was 100%, BD plays something 100%, and they were both very similar, why are you scared to give Boston that credit instead of BD? So to me, I said this a lot during the indoor. It's like, man, it feels like it's a lot of pick and choosing. You're picking and choosing what's clean and what's not, or what you think is better over the other person, even though the other group just did the same thing. Because to me, like I said, Boston exchanges and
it's a one-word answer to that: context. and it's a BS answer, but that's what it is. It's in context. You know, when we judge, we don't isolate a specific instance, and everything is within context of what it is.
And we're all not playing the same exact show. That's another thing.
It's just the context of stuff with stuff. Because like we all know every chord can play paradiddle. What are you playing coming into it, and what are you playing going out of it? So that's
And that's what's awesome about this activity, and that's what sucks about this activity.
Yeah. My thing is, whatever, and I do this when I judge, and then we're going to move on. But I do this when I judge. I'm going to put a number down. I'm going to let you know why you got that number. Yeah. Whether it's on the tape or on the sheet.
You mean your sheet's not just going to say good job?
If it says good job, you know what's going to be right underneath it? My number and my email, and saying, if you have any questions, contact me.
What a concept.
I say that to everybody on my take, because I just judge normally, so like people can get a hold of me. But like, I've had people say, hey, can you let me know what's up with this? And I'll tell them, I'm like, well, you suck, dude. I'm just saying, I don't do it. But like, as long as you can justify to me what you put on the sheet, all right. Because how often do we get to see our competitor? We don't. We don't. And even if we do, it's off to the side and you can't really hear. So it's just like, I have to trust that the judge is going to do the right thing with the numbers. So it's weird. Like I said, I'm not taking nothing away from BD. They are, to me, they're the front runner. I think they're the core that I think that can catch them. But they're doing a lot of things really well, and they're still not clean yet. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. Musically, yeah, it's pretty solid, but visually they got somewhere to go. So, all right. So let's go. Well, we need to talk about the big show that's coming up this weekend. So Zach, go ahead, man. Do your thing.
Oh, all right. So for this week's one to watch, we're gonna start off with a little appetizer. On Tuesday, the 18th. I think that's a Tuesday.
So after
that is Tuesday.
Episode.
Yeah.
So after
this episode is going to be airing
Wednesday. So yesterday our appetizer was DCI Broken Arrow, and if you were able to catch that one, you caught a good one, because the Zephyrus Drum and Bugle Corps from Tulsa, Oklahoma won. Oh, just kidding. No, the lineup for that show has Zephyrus Drum Bugle Corps, but then they have Phantom, Blue Stars, Crown, Cadets, Blue Coats, Boston, and Blue Devils. I mean, that right there, if you aren't able to catch the show on Saturday, but you were able to catch the one on Tuesday, you've pretty much got all the meat and potatoes that's going to go down. So that's a little appetizer. But the big one, the one to watch for this week, is definitely the DCI Southwestern Championship in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome.
Boo.
So they haven't announced. They don't have any of the order of performing yet on the website, other than that Arsenal and Guardians are going first. We do get to see our friends Intermission Drum and Bugle Corps twice, so they're getting a prelims and a finals run. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, Saturday, if you don't have flow and you want to get flow just for one day out of the season, if it's not the Atlanta show, it's this one. So
I
get your
the
friends.
Lineup should be exactly how it is.
Exactly how it is.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, dude, people would
Music City second to last, boy. Come on now. Let's go.
Yeah. So get your friends together. Everybody Venmo somebody to pay for one day subscription.
Well, you get it for a
Flow.
month. You
Well,
get a
yeah,
month
so
subscription, right? So you
what
can get that.
what a better time
They
to
have
start than
months.
right now?
I usually get mine for the year.
I do
The
too.
year
You
is
do
the
mine.
better
Right.
package.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you're gonna do that, Saturday's the one. That's where everybody's together for the first time. That's where people start revealing new stuff, new endings, new costumes, new T-shirts at their booth. I mean, that's where it goes down. So, yeah, the Southwestern Championship in San Antonio. That's our one to watch. That's on Saturday the 22nd, with official starting time at 1:30 p.m.
Central time, right?
Central Time.
Yep.
Let me finish.
Jesus. Okay.
Wait a minute.
So yes, a lot of drum corps, but that's going to be a show. And the order, if you're not what they do, they put groups in neighborhoods of 3 based off your rank. So I think DCI has their own way of ranking groups with their scores. They have their own formula that they use. And so they rank them from the top to bottom. So I think it's 20 world class scores this year. It's 21, but Jersey Circuit's not going. So they do that, and then they put you in neighborhoods. I think they put you in neighborhoods of 3. And then they draw your order within your pool. So let's just say BD, Boston. I guess right now BD, Boston, and Blue Coats would be in your top 3 tier. They take those 3, they draw them randomly out of a hat, and then they pick the order. So it doesn't mean that necessarily BD is going to go last. They may go next to last. They may go 2 from last.
We all know they'll probably end up going last because that's how it works.
Yeah. And then they'll take
Recency
the next
bias.
3. Yeah. Then they'll take the next 3. So that would be Crown, Phantom, and Mandarins. And then do the same thing. And then we'll go draw for the 4th from last, 5th from last, and 6th.
I'm sorry, but I love the fact that Mandarins are in the top 6.
I'm all about it, dude. Them Phantom and Crown together, if that's what's happening, woo!
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be that
My
last
favorite-
block.
My favorite thing with these shows these years and like with indoor stuff is the middle packs are showing up. And the middle packs and the bottom packs are more interesting these days than the top 5s. Not saying that they're not, but they give you more. It's like, bro, who's going to be 12? You know, kind of.
Yeah, there's more
that kind of stuff.
They're fighting.
Yeah, they're fighting.
They got something to fight for.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real here. And I think we've talked about maybe not so much emotion, but we've said the word edge a lot this season. That's almost been like the word of the season. And you know, you have BD who they're just going to do what they do. And I'm not their core, so I'm going to say some stuff that's going to piss somebody off, I'm sure. But they're not fighting. They're just putting a good product on. Blue Coats is going to trying to change the game. Their heart goes in their performance as far as like, we're going to put something on to make you think, to make you feel, and we're going to do this. But if they medal, they medal. For them, they think probably if they medal, they medal. If they don't, they don't. It is what it is. But we're going to push the envelope. Boston's fighting. Boston is fighting.
Chasing their white whale.
They are. Like, this show means something to them. Crown, I don't know. But now you start Phantom fighting like Bulldogs. Mandarins fighting like Bulldogs. Cavies fighting like Bulldogs. Like, the next 10 cores are legitimately fighting for something.
Yep.
And are going after it. And that's why I think you're more entertained by that mid and low pack, because you know they're fighting for something.
I'm gonna tell you right now, in my opinion, from the ones I've seen consistently, to me, that just without hesitation brings it every night is Phantom.
Yep.
They came out the gate hot.
It's like wall sound and heart every time I see this core or every time I hear it,
And
I'm like, this show just keeps, and it's just like,
I
I think a
worry.
lot
I
of groups
worry
feel
that it
that.
might run out of steam.
I hope not. I don't.
But
I
it
don't think it
doesn't
will.
feel
'Cause
that
I
way.
don't.
It
I don't
doesn't
think
feel like
anybody
it's
can.
going to.
I don't think anybody plays well enough
No,
to catch him.
Yeah,
no.
you know what
I
I
don't-
mean. Yeah,
We might get bored with it because we're watching shows 5 or 6 times as opposed to like 2 or 3. But nobody's catching. No, they are in 5th. They are there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good.
It's rock
a
solid.
solid show.
It's rock solid, man. And
It's like old school Phantom. Like not playing the old
Yes.
school Phantom, but it's like old school Phantom. Like, all right, they're gonna play well, they're gonna march well. They're just gonna be a damn good drum corps.
Mm-hmm. The one corps that I am interested to see, because right now they're kind of in the lower part of the pack of the,
I
of
know
the
what you're about
top
to say.
12 is Cavies.
Oh no!
I
you
wanna-
didn't tell us.
I want to see what happens with them because we haven't seen them a whole lot.
I just,
at least flow marching wise. But what are they going to do? Because
I want
right
it to
now,
get
what are they
clean out of
sitting?
nowhere.
Yeah,
And
It
I
just
think that's
be
what's
like
gonna happen.
Hammer.
that's what
I-
that's what I want
want
to see.
to happen.
I
Mhm.
think that's what's gonna happen. I think they're gonna get clean late. They're gonna be a late bloomer. And if they can stay close to cadets, well, let's be honest, that percussion's hot enough. If they can get the rest of it clean, they could sneak in the top 6.
I want
You
to
think-
see because that's
You think
the
Cavaliers
They
one.
will
can
beat
get in there.
Mandarins?
If it gets clean,
They
the
got it,
percussion is strong enough to carry them.
Yep.
I'll tell you right now, I'm nervous for the Blue Stars. I don't
Yeah.
want to say hit the panic button, but they're not going in the right direction score wise. Or let me rephrase that. They're not growing at the same rate as everybody else, and
Yeah,
people are catching them.
That's a great way to put that.
Like Troopers and Colts might be getting a little bit closer to Blue Stars than we think. I'm not
Listen,
sure.
that Colt show is getting better and better every time it comes out.
Well, the hardest
And-
part of their show is actually getting clean now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, and so like they're another one that's in there, but like the Blue Stars percussion section, I think is hurting them the most, right? I think they're kind of that's what's really hurting them right now. They're like sitting like 8th or 9th every time they go somewhere or something like that.
There's a lot of perks that are hurting a lot of groups. Like you said, Blue Stars. I think Crowns is
Mandarins.
getting
I think
hurt.
Mandarin's
Gold,
perk's not helping them much.
Gold's perk is sitting like what 4th. It's like that's not gonna cut it, bro. And
It's people's okay. Well, it's just in general. It's either people's perk or people guard that are hurting
too.
folks.
Scouts guard is hurting them. Right now, in
Um,
my opinion, Scouts perk is holding them afloat. I'll say evenness. I'll take that back. I'll say it's even right now, but the guard is hurting them.
It's for people that are wondering why is this and this and this. You gotta dig into these captions.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta dig into these captions and look at the gaps between folks and how they're scoring between the two sub captions, because that's what's going to tell you the story about why certain groups. Because when you have groups that are very similar as far as tiers concerned, if somebody we've seen it with Crown for many years in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Best brass line in DCI, hands down, year after year. But that perk was never in the top 5.
Yep.
Never. And it cost them a title a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
the year they won, hell, it took them to get hundreds in damn near every caption just to
to overcome that deficit. So if you look, you go, well, why is this group beating this group? Well, look at the captions, see why. And it's usually going to be a gap in guard, a gap in percussion, sometimes even a gap in brass. Not as often, but more than likely you'll see the gap in visual proficiency. Some groups just don't march clean. You know, GE is subjective, but like GE is the thing that you can almost base your feeling off of. You know, and for DCI, you can just look at the show and be like, "Well, damn." If you say "Well, damn," that they're gonna have a good GE show. Like, you may not like BD, but you watch it and you're just like, "Oh shit."
Amen to that.
Like, you know, and I like it. I'm like you guys. I like it this year. I don't think it's 13 points ahead of everybody, but I like it.
Pop a night
like
already.
You know, but yeah, digging into those captions. And I'm a nerd. Like I did fantasy marching drum corps forever, or fantasy drum corps forever, and so I had to dig into captions like that, just so I could be competitive. But that helps you understand things so much better, when you do that. So, any thoughts about that show? What do you think? What do you think will happen? Who's gonna win, or who's gonna surprise us, or whatever like that? We can talk about that for a few minutes. We're already an hour.
The San Antonio show?
Yeah, San Antonio. What's going to be the big thing coming out of this weekend?
I think.
Go ahead.
I think the race for 12th place is going to be pretty interesting, I guess, because that'll be when we get Pacific Crest and Spirit against each other, right?
I really hope Spirit's placement doesn't hurt them.
Like their draw.
Yeah.
It's gonna tell a lot.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to stand out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have kind of one prediction and two hopefuls.
Okay.
My one hopeful is that, you know, like I said, I'm gonna pull for my boys and my girls now till the end of time. I hope Scouts can catch Crossman, and I hope Spirit does lay one down and give a better look for that 12th or getting themselves in the finals, just regardless. And then I, for some reason, think I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it, but I do think BD will probably win. Mm-hmm. But not only will Colts be crowned again, but I think Colts going to be second. Boston going to fall to third.
Well, Boston's already been behind Blue.
Mm-hmm.
They've been behind Blue. Boston hadn't beaten Blue
yet. I thought they just
yet.
got put over them.
The score, but they've not head-to-head.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I don't like the scores. That's why I don't like that score from Colorado.
Yeah. I do still think Colts will get second.
I think Cavaliers will finish ahead of Blue Stars.
I agree. I think Blue Stars going to finish 11th.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like they're going to be towards the bottom. I think Colts and Troopers are going to beat them.
That's a mad drop.
That's going to be that 10 through 14 block is going to be the
10 through 16. I would even say,
but 10 through 14 or 16. That's going to be where you need your popcorn. Right?
I think for me, I'm interested in that 4, 5, 6 Phantom, Crown, Mandarins. Because I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen. Let's go. Let's go, Phantom. I want to see it. I want to see it.
We are not going through this again.
Because we are. We're doing it.
I think BD and Blue is going to start their rivalry. I think
that'll probably be day one.
I think it's going to be close between those two.
Mm-hmm.
I still think BD will win. but I think it's going to be within a point between them. I think Boston and Crown are going to start fighting now. I think Phantom's safe in 5th. I think Mandarins is safe in 6th. That Cadets and Cavies battle is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I've already said Boston's going to – Colts and Troopers already been having some fun. Like I said, I think Blue Stars might fight. I think Pacific Crest and Spirit are going to end up 12-13. I don't know the order, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spirit's going to make a move.
Come on, Spirit.
I think Spirit's going to make a move. They've had
Maybe
some
it was
time.
a culture shock or something because, God, dog, that show just – it shouldn't have hit like that.
That opening hit.
It came out of nowhere.
It was
Got
no
me
warning.
together.
Like, I don't even remember what I was
I'm like,
doing.
did I miss Blue Coats?
Whatever happened, I stopped everything.
Dude, that horn line, dude. I was
Like,
like,
I
dear
stopped
Lord.
everything I was doing. I was like,
And then they had some more licks like that later on in the show. I was just
Yeah,
like,
they did.
I really like this
Yes,
a
they did.
lot. Go Spirit. All right, well, real quick, who's going to win drums?
BD.
Who's second?
Colts.
Chris, who's going to win brass?
BD.
Who's going to be second?
Crown.
Zach, who's going to win guard?
I guess I'll go with BD.
Who's going to be second? That was
Boston.
second's easy, Boston.
I will say this one more thing.
I think Crown will be third in guard.
Okay.
I was
I'll
going to
give
say
him that.
something. I know I've been joking around with Phantom and all that stuff, but I do honestly think that Crown might have the potential to catch Boston.
I'll give you that.
I do think, like, all joking aside, I do think Crown, that them and Boston, I think Blue Coats, it's them and BD.
What would hold me back from that is Crown's perk. And,
Yes.
and the thing
Yeah.
about it is this is what Crown is so much better at than, like my alumni or whatever, when they do get new staff, because if I ain't mistaken, Crown's perk is basically
Basically brand new, but I
They
think that's
are,
one
yeah.
reason why
they're
they're better.
like it's pretty much Broken City
Mhm.
indoors
Yeah.
perk. That's who they have, and it's like, but
Ran by a Kentucky boy. I don't know if you noticed Jared Andrews,
Yeah.
who's the battery caption head Kentucky boy.
Represent.
I'm trying to get him on at some point.
But they holding it down though.
They are.
And
It's
that's
a lot better.
And that's so hard to do with brand new staff. So I'll give them big kudos for that, but it's real difficult when you've already got some heavy hitters above you and you're going against them. You're trying to maintain and stay in that pool.
Mhm.
But because I said it before, I was like, this is some of the best notes I've heard Crown play. I'm sorry. And I've said it before. And I
Well,
said
they
it in the early
addressed their number one weakness, which
Yeah.
was percussion.
Exactly.
They,
And they did the draft perfectly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I said the same thing with Cavies. I said this is the hardest book I've seen Cavies play to date.
Which is why they're finishing high too.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
It's-
saying. The perk race is dumb.
It's good notes.
Like,
Y'all
I'm
need to do a
talking
perk
about-
talk
notes.
this
We
week.
do. We really do.
Maybe after San Antonio, y'all can do a perk talk and
Um,
have an 8-hour
You-
episode over that.
Yeah. I
Because
mean, you hit me up because you're gonna be the one coming out from the heat.
I ain't coming out from no heat.
You don't have
You
that.
know my camps at night.
Oh, that's right. Y'all do go at night.
he's smart. He's smart.
Yeah. And we're front outside. We ain't going outside for what? For
I
what?
made Russellville go outside on purpose
Mm.
just because I felt like it.
I thought about it, but then I'm like, why would I do that to myself? Like, I don't.
You got a car?
Yeah.
I
Have a
do.
megaphone. All right, guys, go ahead. Let's go ahead and do those again.
Just like this. Roll the window down. Do it again. Do it again. Don't let my air out.
I mean, if you want to be real, you already know my kids basically can run themselves. So I'm just like, all right, you got 3 hours to get
really
better.
can.
And I'm
Said
being
call him on
Like-
a cell phone. Be like, I need you to go back to measure 13.
Hey.
All right, thanks.
Hey,
That
Justin,
that
he
didn't
got
feel
one more
right.
time.
That
He
didn't
got
feel
one
right.
more time. I swear he got.
Just tell
Oh, my
Katie to
goodness.
fix it.
Yeah,
She will.
that's basically what I'll do. I ain't taught a front ensemble in like 12 years.
Really? The day
Man,
you
I don't like
came
it.
back and the whole opener was learned. What? How dare y'all? Be good.
The audacity.
Yeah.
No. This was not in the plans.
Nope. Not one bit. But here we are. So yeah. So let us know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen at San Antonio? Who's your favorites? Who are you looking to upset? What are you mad about? Are you mad about BD scoring a 9,000?
Take a number.
But we had some really good feedback in the comments last episode, and I really appreciate that. That's what makes it go around, man. And like I said, we're all fans here. At the end of the day, we all got opinions, and I think we do a pretty good job of expressing our opinions in a good manner and not being obtrusive, because we all understand the kids are all working hard. The staffs are all working hard. Everybody's working hard to give us entertainment, and we appreciate that. But it's a podcast. We got to talk about something. So, we're gonna be nitpicky, and we're gonna give our opinions about things. But at the end of the day, we love the activity, and you guys love the activity. So we want to hear more from you guys. And you guys get into conversations about comments, in the comments yourself. You guys can argue, just don't name calling, and
don't make it personal.
Don't make it personal. just have those conversations. But
don't make me bring the mod hammer down and be like, ban.
But yeah, and tell your friends, man. If one of the coolest comments I think we got was from a guy who said we made him laugh, and that's it for us. Like, we just 4 dudes just hanging out.
Boy, I wish you guys could hear this stuff before, because
I'm telling you, if we start a Patreon, we're gonna start recording that stuff and releasing it on the Patreon, because that stuff is ridiculous. Sometimes.
If you're not following us on Instagram, get on there, follow us, and check out these reels. Mm-hmm. And if you want to get somebody hooked on us, just let them see those little snippets, and it'll do it. It'll write itself.
Yeah, because what you see on this podcast is about 1/10 of what we are in real life.
That's why we don't work together. That's why we don't work together anymore, because we can't get shit done.
Until this year,
I had to leave the whole state.
You're right. Bill had to leave. Get out of here.
That's why 1 weekend a year in Indianapolis we're allowed to be together, or else we would all be in prison.
So if you're going to Worlds, I'll go ahead and say this. If you're going to Indy for Worlds, we normally get in Friday, hanging out all day Saturday. If you see us Saturday or Friday, even Friday night, if you see us, come holler.
Yeah.
I've had people. I met a dude at WGI. It was really cool. So I think last year at MTSU, somebody recognized you, Chris.
Yeah.
So if you see us, and I think y'all are going to MTSU, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yes.
You think so? I'm not sure if I'm going just yet. I don't know yet, but
I'll be there.
But if you see us, holla, man. We'll take a picture, put you on the podcast. Somebody might be vlogging it, so you might end up on the vlog. But man, it's a community. We all doing this together because we like to do this. We don't take ourselves too seriously. Even though we do teach and we do these things, we know I don't know everything. Hell, I'm still trying to figure out stuff.
I'm a social studies teacher.
Educate us on some stuff. Right? We just talk.
Yeah, if you know how to do Pieware, help me out.
We are on drill set 2 now.
Right? And set 1's a 30 count hold.
There you go. Hey, all that body.
Listen.
Every bit of that body.
Yada.
Right? So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also listen to us on Anchor.fm and Spotify. So we are constantly updating, usually on Wednesdays, but percussion stuff comes out whenever we feel like doing it. But yeah, just you can follow us on those, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear, see us do within reason. No feet pics. I'm not into that.
We're not feetfinder.com.
No, we are not. So, yep. And even comments on my cat are even cool too. Chilling. So anyway.
He's chill today.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty chill. So, fellas, anything else before we head out?
Happy band camp.
Yep. Yeah. Wear sunscreen, drink plenty of water, and stretch. There you go.
You need the biggest bowl of cereal before you go.
Stop.
Yeah. Put milk in your canteen.
Get out of here. Yep. Drink milk every day.
Yes.
It's got great benefits.
Make sure it's whole milk too. Maybe even a little half and half.
Put it in the microwave, man.
Listen, we got young, impressionable listeners to this. And you're going to have them at band camp and say, the guys on OTBH said to drink milk.
Just whoa, across the field.
Oh, God.
So need to go.
So don't listen to Zach.
Jeans and hoodies.
Okay. For Zach, Chris, and Will, my name is Frederick. This has been episode number 46 of On the Backcast. We are out.